Welcome, everyone, to the Kingscrowd Clean Energy Pitch Session at Investment Crowdfunding Week. I'm your host today, Devin Thorpe from the Super Crowd, and I am really excited about what we've got going on today. We'll be highlighting founders from across the sustainable energy industry and the technology, the products you're going to see. Some of these will blow your mind. You just do not want to miss 1 second of this program. Stick around. I'm grateful to have Brian Belley from Kingscrowd. He's the Chief Technology Officer there, a dear friend of mine, and I'm so thrilled. He's going to provide us a little bit of an introduction. He himself has invested in hundreds of deals personally. Of course, Kingscrowd has its own fund and it does ratings. I mean, if you don't have a Kingscrowd account, you need to get one today. But Brian's going to sort of kick this session off and provide some context for it. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, thank you, Devin, and thank you everyone again for joining us today. Looks like my audio is good. Excellent. So this is going to be a pitch session. Each of these founders is going to be giving a 5-minute pitch. Now, one of the things that we want to let you know is at Kingscrowd, we have data-driven analysis. We cover all of the investment opportunities that are being done online via regulation crowdfunding, Reg CF, and some Reg D. So if you notice in the bottom of the Zoom, if you're watching this in the Zoom session, there's a resources button. And if you click that button, you'll be able to get free unlocked reports, which is the analysis that Kingscrowd puts together on all of these companies that are presenting today. So we're unlocking those for 24 hours. All you have to do is create a free account on Kingscrowd, and then you can get an analysis on each of these companies. Now, at Kingscrowd, again, we are looking to be very data-driven, so we are bringing these founders to you. These are some of the most impressive founders that we have seen in each of these different areas. And for this kind of clean energy session, we're going to be getting into some great pitches. Now, once the pitches kick off, you can also pop your questions into the Q&A, and we're going to leave a few minutes for Q&A at the end so that you'll be able to ask your questions. Devin and I will talk a little bit about each deal after they pitch, and then if there are questions that aren't answered, they will stick around for a little bit after to be able to type those into the chat. So Devin, if you want to welcome me back to the stage here, do you want to introduce our first company?
I am thrilled to do that. So this is how it's going to work, everyone. We'll have 5 founders. Each one will have 5 minutes to pitch, and then we'll do the Q&A. So our first pitcher is William Smith, the CEO of Infinity Fuel Cell and Hydrogen. William, welcome. We're excited to have you. And we're very eager to see you. There you are.
Okay.
William, welcome.
Thank you.
We're thrilled to have you here. William, take it away.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Devin. I'm delighted to have this opportunity to share what we're doing here at Infinity Fuel Cell and Hydrogen with the broader investment community. And I have a short presentation that I'll share right now. Can everybody see that?
Yes, you are good.
Okay, great. The name of the company is Infinity Fuel Cell and Hydrogen Inc., and what's shown on this screen is just some of the projects that we've been involved in over the years. Let's move down. Kind of the obligatory safe harbor statement. We may be making forward-looking statements as we go, so generally we have to inform everybody of that. Now, kind of stepping back a little bit, taking a deep breath. Now imagine a future using green energy to make hydrogen from water, and then using this green hydrogen as a fuel or as a feedstock for many different processes where you can achieve massive carbon reductions for food, for steel, for concrete. Our food today is fertilized with ammonia from ammonia products that are typically made by carbon-intensive processes. Now imagine the airs can be breathed freely. We have cleaner air. And more importantly, imagine optimism for the future. Imagine, really a world becoming free from fear and concerns about many of the climate change issues we all hear about every day. Now, how are we going to help do that? By bringing technology we've been developing for NASA, for the Department of Defense, down to earth to help create this carbon-free future. And our role in this is that we design, build, test, and deliver complete fuel cell electrical power systems for spacecraft, aircraft, marine vehicles, and terrestrial use. We also do the reverse. We design, build, test, and deliver complete electrolysis systems to generate clean, green hydrogen fuel and oxygen from renewables. Now, when we talk about fuel cells and electrolyzers, well, simply, what are they? A fuel cell is very basic. We take hydrogen and oxygen and put it through the fuel cell reaction and get electricity and water. Water that's pure enough to drink. And in fact, if you're NASA, you'll save that water and the astronauts will drink it. Now, what's an electrolyzer? It's the reverse. We take electricity made from renewable sources and water and generate hydrogen and oxygen to be used later on as a fuel or to be used as a process feedstock. These are some pictures of our hardware. When this reaction occurs, it occurs in a special type of membrane that acts like sulfuric acid in your car, but it's completely safe to the touch. It's called a proton exchange membrane. And we stack those up to make what we call cell stacks. The longer they are, the more cells, the higher the voltage. The wider they are, the higher the current. And what's shown there are some of our pieces of hardware. And importantly, down at the bottom is shown one of Jeff Bezos's Blue Origin New Shepard launch vehicles, where our equipment flew twice as NASA-funded experiments. And on the electrolyzer side, this is a typical high-pressure electrolyzer that we make. And uniquely, what we can do is we can generate high-pressure hydrogen directly at pressure with no compressors. So it's clean, it's quiet, and you can get high-pressure hydrogen. And you can combine the two, and this is a system we developed for the US Navy to be a mobile microgrid that could be deployed. You can combine the two to use it as an energy storage system, and this is a mobile microgrid employing our high-pressure electrolyzer. Now, why would anybody invest in us? And why have they invested in us? So far, we've raised about $6 million through Regulation C crowdfunding, and we're looking at another raise in the first quarter of next year, either as a Regulation C or a Regulation A. We believe we have the right team, the right markets, and competitive advantages as evidenced by our contracts to date. And what's shown on this screen is simply some of the resume of where many of the people come from, highly experienced at these types of companies, but we also have extremely talented newcomers. And our markets, all of the markets we're participating in look to have very high growth rates and very large overall growth: space, green hydrogen, and underwater vehicles. In fact, we just signed 2 new contracts in the past 2 weeks for space and underwater activities. And we've had over $50 million worth of past and current contracts from a very tough group of customers who've been able to meet very demanding requirements from government agencies, aerospace primes, and now subsea primes as well. So we believe we have a good formula there. And why is this valuable? And it can be valuable in space, but also we can bring that back to Earth to show the same value. And this is just one quick look at a NASA reason for investing. They need to survive the lunar night. 2 weeks of night, 340 hours or so at minus 280 degrees Fahrenheit. The solution is regenerative fuel cells, combining electrolyzers and fuel cells to replace batteries. And NASA is funding us right now, and also a major prime is funding us right now for this program. And why? Because NASA sees that it is enormously advantageous. You can see, this is not my chart, this is a NASA chart showing how they can save over $700 million depending on where they are on the surface of the moon. So that is extremely valuable to NASA, and we can bring those same technology opportunities down to Earth to benefit everybody here. So just want to say, please consider joining us as we boldly go to infinity and back to Earth again. We feel that these technologies have a lot to offer as we look forward to a carbon-free future, as we look forward to a future with optimism. There's good news coming. There's good news for the future. This doesn't have to be a fear or concern about climate change constantly. We have solutions. The solutions are right at hand. And what's shown at the bottom of the screen is our investment tab. We're not taking investments today, but like I said, we're anticipating opening up the window again in the first quarter of next year. And we would be delighted if people would like to come and join us in our mission as to, go forward from here. Thank you.
Fantastic. William, that's a great story. I mean, it's so compelling. This is exciting stuff. I know, Brian, you've been thinking deeply about this. Why don't you start us off with a question? I know I've got a lot of questions, but why don't you start?
Yeah. Great
Shoot.
presentation, William. I
Thank you.
got a little bit of an aerospace background myself, but this is really what we call kind of a deep tech, almost like a moonshot, literal moonshot type,
That's where we're going.
opportunity, right? It's obviously, it looks like just all the technology and the patents you have behind it are really impressive. What do you see as kind of the biggest challenge to kind of getting to that next milestone? Is it the technology, the funding, the execution at this point?
Well, I think it's a combination of all of those. This is a capital intensive business. And, one of the things, the opportunity we have right before us, immediate opportunity is uh, the scale up to production. As I mentioned, we've had over $50 million worth of development funding to advance from technology to prototypes. And now we're advancing from prototypes to early production and then larger scale production. And we're making that transition right now. So coming up with the resources, the capital to fund that technology evolution in that next step. And that's critically important as we go. And that's, we have a ton of technology ideas to make things even better, but things work very well right now. The technology works very well right now, and it can work even better at lower cost points as we go forward. So making that transition to production and scale up to production is what we're looking to go do over the next couple of years.
It's really exciting to think about the short-term revenue opportunities with these high cost environments where there's an opportunity to test and develop the technology. But there's some fundamental challenges to dropping the cost of electrolyzing water to create the hydrogen, the clean, genuinely green hydrogen at a cost comparable to the getting that from fossil fuels. Do you see a path for the technology to get the cost of green hydrogen down to be comparable to the kind of dirty hydrogen we primarily use today?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it isn't something that we're doing intrinsically, although we're doing our part in looking ahead to lower the cost of our capital cost of our equipment and increase its efficiency. But when you make hydrogen by using renewable electricity, you obviously have to consume kilowatt hours. And the drastic cost reductions in wind and in solar are opening up new windows for us. Typically for electrolysis, you're going to consume somewhere between 45 and 55 kilowatt hours per kilogram of hydrogen. And as the cost of wind, for instance, drops down to under 5 cents or maybe as low as 2 cents per kilowatt hour, you get to a recurring cost point that is competitive with hydrogen that's made by the conventional process of steam reformation. And then as you get into social environments that place a high value on that, carbon
Yeah.
cost of saving carbon, you can even justify that more quickly.
Okay, that's great. I'm glad there's a path because
There
hydrogen is
is.
such a critical piece of a green future. Getting that figured out is going to be key. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, William. We're out of time.
Okay.
These things are so fast. I'm so sorry. We're going to move on. Our next
Okay. Well,
guest,
thank you. Thank you.
thank you, William.
Bye.
Great job. Our
Thanks.
next presenter will be another exciting technology this one is in the small wind turbine space. And this is an exploding space. It's so exciting. I see new opportunities in this space all the time, but it's vital to be able to put wind in urban and suburban environments and to take advantage of wind in all kinds of crazy places where big turbines just won't work. And so Nazariy Mirchuk is our presenter from Scirocco Energy. Nazariy, take it away.
Devin, thank you for the kind intro. I'll be sharing a screen in just a moment. Okay, and here I am. So please let me know whether you see the screen.
Yes, and you're in front. You're good.
Awesome. Okay, so my name is Nazariy Mirchuk. I'm a Chief Growth Officer at Scirocco Energy. So let me start with the realities that we are all aware of. Businesses across North America and Europe are facing electricity costs that have been rising during recent years, and the need and stable supply of affordable electricity is more important than ever. Manufacturing facilities, data centers, agricultural operations, typically they could not rely on a clean energy. They are all struggling with energy bills that can reach tens of thousands of dollars per month, while simultaneously dealing with grid instability that threatens their operations. And what I could say, this isn't a temporary crisis, it's a new normal. So today I'm here to show you how Sirocco Energy is solving this problem with a reimagined approach to wind energy that makes suburban renewable generation not just possible, but also profitable. So we are all facing the challenges that could be drawn down to three critical issues. First is energy security. So decentralized generation is no longer a luxury, and it's essentially a necessity for national and business energy independence. Second, this is high and volatile electricity costs. Over 30% of the global market is paying more than 20 cents per kilowatt hour from the grid. This isn't just an operational cost, it's a direct threat to profitability and growth. And the third one is balancing renewable generation. Solar is fantastic during the day, but what about night or during the winter? There is a clear need for a consistent renewable source to fill those gaps. And at Sirocco, we are tackling these three challenges head on. And how do we do this? We provide a solution that is next generation wind turbine designed specifically for businesses in suburban areas. It delivers up to 4 times reduction in electricity costs, requires up to 3 times less installation footprint, and operates with a low noise and vibration. It's safer for birds and dramatically cuts down on logistics and operational costs. And the question is, how do we do this? Is because of the new design that we are introducing to the market. And this is a leap forward in efficiency. We started by removing the gearbox, the heaviest, most complex, and failure-prone part of traditional turbine. Instead, we use a gearless direct drive system with a high-efficiency generator. Next, we re-engineered the blades. Instead of long, heavy blades mounted at one point, we use shorter, lighter blades mounted at 2 points. This simple change drastically reduces stress, weight, and material costs. And also, this design allows us to use more affordable, lightweight towers. And the entire modular system can be shipped in a standard 40-foot container and assembled with light equipment. Finally, our wind turbines are optimized for real-world suburban wind speed from 5 to 10 meters per second, not the high speed of remote planes. So we are ensuring maximum energy generation where our customers are actually operating. If we're talking about the economics of that, as you can see on a graph, our power curve against a traditional turbine typically generate 20% more energy in the environment where the businesses typically operate. And if we're talking about the economics, with an average speed of just 6 meters per second, our 100 kilowatt turbine achieves a levelized cost of energy of just 3 cents per kilowatt hour. Compared to a grid cost of 20 cents that delivers annual cost savings of nearly $50,000, achieving a full payback in about 4 years. Talking about the product lineup, we are bringing a full suite of products to market to meet diverse customer needs. We will begin with 30 kilowatt and 100 kilowatt models in 2026, followed by our larger 500 kilowatt and 1 megawatt in 2027, 2028, respectively. And talking about the current status, we have successfully tested and validated our 8 kilowatt prototype in real world conditions. We are currently in progress with our first 30 kilowatt pilot projects for our customers in Europe, Ukraine, and US. And our next immediate step is to achieve certification and begin serial production of 30 kilowatt model, followed closely by the pilot projects and production for our 100 kilowatt turbine. Also, we are holding a patent, US patent in Ukraine, and also right now working on a patent in Europe. Talking about the business model, it's straightforward and built for growth. We target high energy consumers in suburban areas where grid electricity is expensive, and we have multiple revenue streams. It starts with the wind assessment fee at the client side. The primary revenue comes from direct turbine sales with clear pricing for each model. And then we generate recurring revenue through annual servicing and maintenance contracts. And finally, for the clients who prefer zero capex solutions, we also plan to offer energy as a service model, selling them power at a fixed rate, which would be significantly cheaper than the grid. Talking about the situation with the company valuation and installed capacity, we are having a clear roadmap for growth. We're currently moving from technology validation to our first pilot projects for 30 kilowatt, with the goal in 2028 to achieve revenue of 38 million, which I would say is very well sought and could be more, but still we have a clear roadmap for what we want to achieve. And the people is something that without whom we could not achieve this. Our founding team combines deep technical expertise with proven business leadership, and we are also supported by a world-class strategic partners in manufacturing and technology, and advisory board of seasoned executives from the energy and industrial sectors. And what we are right now looking for, we are raising a 1.5 million seed round at a 10 million pre-money valuation to launch serial production and scale into our target markets. We've already secured over 500,000 for this round. And what does it mean? That it was the clear exit opportunity in 2028. It allows a potential 20x return for our early investors. So Scirocco Energy is providing practical, affordable, and highly efficient solution to pressing global need. We invite you to join us in building the future of decentralized energy, and I'll be glad to answer any questions you guys might have.
Great. Brian, why don't you get us started with a quick question?
Yep. And just a reminder too, other people feel free to pop questions into the chat, and if we can't get to them, they will stick around to answer them after. So love what you're doing. I think, very interesting design. Again, the aerospace nerd in me kind of geeked out looking at the airfoil shapes and noticing how you're redesigning the blades. Now, I imagine, what you're looking to compete with, or in terms of the energy, is not necessarily the huge turbines, which are probably in more remote areas and much bigger, but because it's a different design, I'm curious, how do you think of the potential renewable sources or other energy sources that you're competing with? Is it more solar panels in those suburban environments, or how do you think about that?
Brian, thank you for asking. Actually, I think it's yes, it is from one side it's a competitor, but from other side it's really a partner, because solar and other sources can generate energy in some restricted, let's so call it, environment. So having a partner like our solution, which would actually complement the energy stability for the business, and supplying it with the battery will just provide the full suite, so the business will feel comfortable and it would make economic sense.
Great.
That's great. Now, as you look at the spectrum of wind, it seems to me that you've been slowly moving sort of upscale towards larger turbines. From as we think about small turbines, I think about kilowatt hours, single digits. You're now talking about dozens, hundreds, megawatt power. What's driving that?
Yes, Devin, thank you for the question. So we have a clear roadmap of what we want to achieve, starting from 30 kilowatt, after that launching a 100 kilowatt, then 500 kilowatt, and then 1 megawatt. And what's driving is essentially providing the technology that at a scale would make a good impact in terms of like a clean tech solution, but also in terms of the economics would make sense because of the bigger scale would provide better economics of scale. That's why we are looking at the bigger solution. And this flexibility of different models also gives us an opportunity to step into the value chain for the business, depending on their needs, and to make it repeatable. So let's say at certain moment they need, let's say, I don't know, 400 kilowatt turbine, which would be repeatable in their different location. We can do that. If they need something bigger, we can do that as well.
Fantastic. Um, I, I'm so sorry. We got to move on, Nazariy. That's a great presentation. There is another question in the chat. I encourage you to respond to that as we step away now. But thank you very, very much. Our next presenter is going to be Troy Helming, CEO of EarthGrid. And EarthGrid has a technology that, I kid you not, comes straight out of Star Wars. This is something you're going to be like, holy cow, how can they do this? Does this really work? So, Troy, walk us through the Star Wars tech you're using.
Okay, will do. Awesome. Thank you so much. Hopefully, you can see my screen at this point.
Yep, you're good to go.
Awesome. All right. So, for those who haven't heard about EarthGrid, we'll be talking about basically lightsabers. The image here you see are plasma torches that are turning rock into little bits like sand and dust. A little background on me first. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've had 4 exits, including a B.A.D.A.S. unicorn. Windlift Energy, which I started many years ago, became the largest wind developer in the United States in 2017 and was number 3 in 2018. The company was acquired by Enel Green Power, the multinational utility giant, and Macquarie. $35 billion of assets were developed by that company. So that's the biggest one. I've had a couple of other exits. So you're reading this and hearing this using a 100-year-old grid that can't keep up. There's 3,000 gigawatts of unbuilt projects out there, solar farms, wind farms, and other projects that can't get built because we're not putting in enough new overhead transmission lines. We need hundreds of new transmission lines in North America. Other parts of the world do as well, but it takes an average of 10 to 20 years for these projects to be completed. And 80% of solar and wind projects are abandoned after spending hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of dollars in 3 to 7 years because of the antiquated electric grid. So EarthGrid is here to fix the grid and solve the power problem for AI and data centers. We're going to show a quick video here. I'll let it play. Oops, it's not playing. On this bit here. Going to mute this. This was a demonstration of our technology out in the field in the Sierra Mountains of California. This is a granite quarry, very hard Sierra white granite. This is our plasma excavation system. We have 2 machines. This one is an excavator, so it can dig trenches or ditches in hard rock, can carve out caves, bunkers, ground vaults for utilities. And you see the flakes of granite just flying out of this trench. We had dozens of people come and watch this demonstration, and including some experienced construction companies, and they're like, wow, I've never seen anything get through granite this quickly. So that's a little bit about the technology. So let me exit out of here and go back to the standard. So one of the things that EarthGrid has done over the last 5 years is we have been approved as a regulated utility in 46 states. That comes in the form of a CPCN, a Certificate of Public Convenience and Necessity. What's it mean? Basically means that we can put our tunnels or trenches along any public road in any of these 46 states so far, and that represents 97% of the US GDP and population. So if we wanted to quickly get a permit to put a new underground transmission line in, or bury power lines to stop causing fires and to improve the quality and reliability of our grid, because power goes out every time there's an ice storm or a tornado or a hurricane or a squirrel or a traffic accident, right? So anyway, this allows us to get the permits very quickly and is kind of our hack, if you will, on accelerating permitting. EarthGrid is about 8 years old. We've raised a total of about 50 million of equity. in cash, 63 million total, including some work in kind, equipment contributed, and things like that. All of our rounds have been oversubscribed, and we just opened up a Series A round. We have two co-lead investors who signed a term sheet, and it's a $95 million pre-money valuation. We're raising $7 million, and the first $2 million of investors get a 10% discount on that. So I encourage folks to check that out. So our groundbreaking, pun intended, plasma tech enables all kinds of things. Smart cities, better water infrastructure, underground utility, utilidors, if you will, rebuilds, EV charging, and there's a number of applications for national security and defense as well. So what are our benefits, our advantages? We can be up to 10 times lower cost, anywhere from 3 to 100 times faster. And here's some actual numbers. It typically costs about $5 to $9 million per kilometer, a little more than that per mile, to dig a tunnel in North America or Europe. Our cost is about $1 million per kilometer, so significantly lower cost. And going through hard rock is usually 10 to 30 meters in a day is average. And we've demonstrated 300 meters in a day or even faster in certain types of granite and other geologies. And it, as mentioned already, typically takes 10 to 20 years to permit new overhead, either power lines or fiber lines, communications or whatever, and going underground, the permitting can be done in 1 to 3 years. Some of the news coverage that we've gotten about our company here on the right, and we have an amazing IP portfolio, 162 patent claims, over 1,000 trade secrets that we will never patent. Those are our recipes for each kind of rock. And we have exclusivity with key suppliers. It's a $2 trillion grid infrastructure market. Many folks are saying we have to increase our grid 5x to accommodate data centers and AI. And here's some of the points about why the timing is right now for joining an infrastructure company with world-changing technology like EarthGrid. Wrapping up here so we can have time for questions. Our two products, we're not going to sell the machines. Our business model is, well, boom and badass. Why? Because we have a sense of humor. Our boom model is where we own the infrastructure. Again, like I said, we're a utility in 46 states. So we can get the permits quickly and we own that tunnel. And we can either lease out space and collect revenue for decades, or we can charge a toll on all of the commodities flowing through our tunnels or trenches. So that could be power, water, data, gas, freight, and eventually people. And we'll collect a piece of the action on all of that for decades, because tunnels are always designed to last for a century. Our B.A.D.A.S. model is boring and drilling, or boring and digging as a simple service is what that stands for. And that's our construction model. So we can act as a subcontractor to construction companies, solve difficult geology challenges. And there's no geology risk because at 20,000 degrees, our lightsabers can get through anything. So wrapping up here, here's our team, some of the customer traction that we have here. And we've got $1 billion exit potential, and here's a couple of comps.
That's fantastic. Troy, this is one of those things that's so hard to believe. It's exciting just to see a pitch. Brian, what do you want to know about EarthGrid?
So many questions. How do I boil it down to one in the short time we have? I guess, I'm curious, Troy, from a funding perspective, this is another, it seems like potentially capital intensive business, right? It's again, a kind of hard technology. You've raised a lot really well through equity. Are you also pursuing, and do you have non-dilutive funding sources as well?
We do. We've already gotten a grant from the United States Air Force, another grant that was awarded, and we've applied to a bunch more. In addition to that, we have basically verbal commitments from Bank of America and a number of other big institutions that once we get some of these larger customer contracts, 7 of which are in negotiations right now, once we get some of those, they'll provide non-dilutive capital to help us accelerate, buy more equipment to build more machines to meet that customer contract.
Now, who are those customers real quick? Not specific names, I guess, but the types of customers that you're selling into.
Yeah, so construction companies, utilities, and data center developers or hyperscalers are the 3 biggest.
Got it.
Those are fantastic markets. We've got just time for one quick question. How big do you think this market is? It seems like it's almost infinite. What are the upper limits?
Yeah, we've had a number of folks take a look at this. Just the electric grid market alone is $2 trillion over the next 10 years. So you can divide that by 10, it's still huge. The water market is not quite as big. You know, there's real estate, there's construction happening all over the place. So it's a huge market. It's a multi-trillion dollar.
Wow, wow, that's so exciting. Troy, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us on this program today. It's so exciting to catch up with you, and we're thrilled to have had you. Good luck with the new raise you're starting now. Boy, this seems like an exciting opportunity for investors. Thank you very, very much, Troy. Our next presenter brings a similar level of technology and excitement. I mean, this is one of those things where it kind of sounds to me like a perpetual motion machine, except that it's even better than that. It seems scientifically impossible, and yet it works. Rob, tell us about Windlift.
Yeah, thanks, Devin. I'll bring up some videos, and you can see that it's not scientifically impossible. It basically uses the same principle we've all used when we've flown a kite. We just used AI to do it better. So I'll talk a little bit about that and introduce you to our tethered drones. So at Windlift, we're redefining autonomous tethered flight. And we do this with something called a self-learning recursive algorithm that we've optimized over the last decade, working with the Naval Research Laboratory and the U.S. Marine Corps. So this is our system, and these are the three, technologies that we're pioneering today that use that core self-learning algorithm. The first one's our guard system, and that's towed behind ships and allows them to have security. So I don't know if you've heard about the terrorist attacks in the Red Sea, but people are paying over $1 million for insurance to take container ships, oil ships through the sea, or they have to go around the Horn of Africa, which uses a ton of extra fuel and burns a lot of extra oil. So that's really reducing the energy consumption of shipping around the world. And then the next one's this buoy-mounted APG, which actually generates power on its own. We've gotten so efficient with our tethered flight that we can actually pull energy out of the wind stream. And then we've taken that buoy-mounted system and put it in a container on land as well. So first I'll talk a little bit about what we do at Windlift, because selling electrons is actually a tough business. You're competing with legacy utilities that have billions and billions of dollars of capital, and they've really optimized all their systems. So for a small company to break into that space, it can be really challenging. But selling data is actually a very lucrative business, and that's kind of where we're focused at Windlift right now, is using our platforms, which can be operated, as I said, towed behind a ship or on a buoy at the ocean or in a container. And those systems can actually have radar, can have cameras, can have radio, and provide a critical layer of communications and data that right now doesn't really exist. We have satellites that are up high, we've got ground-based systems, but to have a persistent platform flying at anywhere from 150 to 800 feet, providing that layer is really, really valuable to our customers in the military. And actually, I'm in Finland right now talking to the Finnish defense industry here about using this system to help defend their border with Russia. So that's kind of an exciting opportunity. So this is really the guard system, and I'll talk a little bit why our technology is so much more valuable. This is a tethered drone. You can see them. There's lots of companies now making these tethered drones. They do this because tethered drones have 24/7 endurance. You can have comms, you can have cameras. They're really valuable for securing events, for securing borders. But all the tethered drones have a vulnerability in that as the wind speed increases, their payload decreases, and they have altitude limits. So the tethered drone can only go to 150, maybe 200 feet, except for very large, expensive ones. What we do is we have a glider that actually gets around that. So as I said, this AI algorithm we've developed at Windlift allows these systems to be a very, very stable platform for cameras, for all sorts of stuff. And actually, we're working with Northrop Grumman right now, and they've decided that our platform is the only way to accomplish this mission of towed flight behind commercial shipping and behind military vessels as well. So I have a little video here I'm going to come up that just shows how the guard system operates to get an idea of how we launch and land. This system's in development right now. We've flown small-scale prototypes. Actually, our first prototype we flew using our algorithms actually doubled the wind speed that any other tethered drone can operate at. So we've really proven this technology, and we're excited to share this with the world. And this is a LiDAR, a EOIR camera that can be mounted on the bottom of that. And this looks like my video is pausing, so I'll hop to the next believe we're having a little technical difficulty here in Finland. You able to still hear me, Devin?
Yeah, we can still hear you. Yep.
Okay, great. Oh, here we go. We just had a little pause there. So this is just a little graph that shows how much better the Windlift system is compared to all the other quadcopter and hex rotor systems that exist today. As I said, we've almost doubled the wind speed, and we're not even at the limit now. We're gonna do hopefully a demo where we get towed behind a NASCAR to see exactly how fast we can pull these drones using our algorithm. So that should be fun happening later this fall. And this is kind of the graph that shows why this is such a great approach to towed tethered flight. A quadrotor system, as the wind speed increases, and that's the apparent wind speed. So if you're in a vehicle going 30 miles an hour into a 20-mile-an-hour wind, that's a 50-mile-an-hour wind. And every other drone will fall out of the sky at that level. Our system actually uses less power, gets more stable, and can operate in very windy environments at sea. And that's really what they need for military use and for these container ships and oil vessels as well. So, we haven't developed this just with our own work. We've raised about $2 million in private capital over the years, but we've matched that with $24 million in the Department of Defense and Department of Energy contracts to develop this technology. And right now, our primary partner is the Naval Research Lab, and we work with the Electronic Warfare Division there in the Vehicle Research Section. It's an amazing group to work with. They actually invented drone warfare about 25 years ago. So a lot of those engineers we work with are know more about drones than anybody, and they've really helped us to optimize our technology. This is our plan for the next year. We're just raising a pre-seed right now, and we're on WeFunder right now, so you can learn more about the terms of that investment on WeFunder. And I guess that's all we can say with the crowd CF rules, but we're also planning to raise a seed round as soon as we close this WeFunder round as well and build these systems out. And the APG is the other product that I talked about. And that's a system that we've really focused on working with the Naval Research Lab. And that system's flying today. So here you can see this video. Our system launches and lands autonomously from the platform. And when it flies, it actually generates power. So this is something we're super excited about. And this is why we're on the clean energy track here. So we can take that power and send it down the tether and charge a battery or a microgrid on the ground. And we're planning to build larger systems. That'll be about 40-foot wingspan. They'll be charged up to 30 homes. Our system can also, as I said, collect data and be deployed very quickly. And that's the key, is you don't have to build a foundation, build a tower for wind energy. You can actually launch it from this container. You can launch it from the tether, or you can launch it from a buoy at sea. So that's what the Windlift system allows you to do. Here's a test flight, it's kind of what the system looks like from the ground when it's flying. We fly these figure-8 patterns, actually generate power, send that power down the tether using our advanced power electronics. The market for this technology is huge. Total addressable market's like $500 billion, we estimate, but the market we're focused on right now is a $50 billion market by 2030. And our team is also world-class with folks from Siemens, NASA, Caterpillar, Wolfspeed, General Dynamics, Collins Aerospace. We've got a really high-quality team of really accomplished engineers with the team as well. We also have some amazing advisors. David Hardy from GE Vernova Wind is on our team. And then Cal Carter is the co-founder of Wolfspeed. I don't know if you know that much about silicon carbide, but Cal Carter is the father of silicon carbide with a national metal technology, and he's been a mentor of mine.
Rob, I want to give Brian a chance to ask you a question.
Yeah, there we go. Sorry, so much to say. It's great history, and I'd love to talk about technology. But
Brian,
we know it's tough. It's a tight timeline. All good. Yeah, thank you for the presentation. So I guess my question, when you're talking about the market opportunity for this, you kind of presented the guard plus the APG. What does that kind of look like if you break it out in terms of near term? You mentioned you're more of the data play, the defense side, versus long term, the power generation. And what's the rough timeline you think before you get to that power generation state opportunity?
That's the billion-dollar question.
Okay.
As I said, electron business is a tough business, especially in the U.S. right now, with clean tech being kind of the government business is challenged. So focusing on the data really in the U.S., we're talking to the Coast Guard, Border Patrol, maybe with the Navy, and that guard system is something they're very interested in. It's not wind energy, so they like that. But I'm also here in Europe right now. They're less hung up on wind energy, and they're very interested in having more alternative power sources. Here in Finland, they have no coal, oil, or gas. So they're looking for all sorts of energy solutions that allow them to kind of wean themselves from the current providers of oil and gas that they're dependent on. So that's where we're focused. So and I will say both of these systems use all the same components and the same software. So from our perspective, we're manufacturing the same thing. So they're different markets, and we're being very opportunistic about how we pursue them.
Got it. Devin?
Well, this is, I think, an amazing technology, Robert. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here today to feature. I want to encourage everyone who's watching to check this out. Go to that WeFunder page and check it out. Robert, be sure to put the link in the chat when you wrap up here. But this is a great opportunity for you to check out. Robert, thank you very much. We've got our last pitcher coming up now. Eren Alan Canarslan. I apologize, Eren. I did my best. Forgive me. Olympian Motors. This is some of the coolest EV stuff I've seen in development. I think this is stuff you're going to be able to order today. So if you don't invest, maybe you just buy one of the cars. Eren, take it away. Tell us about your cars at Olympian Motors.
Excellent. Thanks, Devin, for having me. A few words on Olympian Motors. Our story started in 2021. So right now we are in our fourth year. Olympian Motors started with the idea of bringing aesthetics and style back to automotive industry. And we wanted to combine it in a simple modular platform. So we can change how the cars are being manufactured today. So far, we will be able to successfully completed the prototyping and testing stage, and we successfully delivered the initial batch of our vehicles to customers a few months ago. At this point, Olympian Motors, we are very excited for the next stage and upcoming deliveries. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Give me 1 second.
You're good to go.
Okay, excellent. So our goal is to create something beautiful, right? So when we look at this, most of the cars outside, we realize there is an increased standardization, the banal experience that German automakers, European automakers, and even most of the cult car makers of the 20th century now got stuck for the past 30 years. Nothing different, nothing sexy, nothing an interesting design came to the automotive. So that's number one. We want to change that. We want to bring Art Deco style. We want to bring mid-century American back to automotive industry. And actually that is now possible with what we have done with the skateboard modular EV approach. We simplify the software architecture. We simplify electromechanical architecture. And at the core, we have something really easy to manufacture and assembly. But on the other hand, something beautiful, something that people really want to be part of it in electric vehicle adoption cycles. Because we know that a lot of people were early adopters in Tesla, now asking for the questions, what else? Okay, people get it. Electric vehicles, Tesla became one of the most valuable companies in the world. And many others are following both in Asia and United States now. And of course, we have many other failed players as well. But what we are doing intrinsically different than other automakers, including Tesla, is number one, style. We are a second generation electric vehicle company, and we would like to go beyond just being electric. We also want to be beautiful electric vehicles. And number two, we want to do it modular. And I will give you a few more details about that. But so far the traction, we were able to book more than 770 orders for our vehicles, predominantly for Model 01, the vehicle that you've seen in this picture. So far, we raised 2 rounds of fundraising from Y Combinator, Climate Capital, and Collaborative Fund. And also, we feel we started a strategic collaboration with NVIDIA and CATL, which is the Tesla's battery provider too. So far, we have 3 models, and these models prototypes are available now. That's something you can come and experience and schedule a test drive. Model 01, Model 84, and Model 42, all based on the same skateboard model, right? And again, we are offering test drives and limited, car experience days in New York as well as in California. And at the core, what we do is a decentralization, right? So you can call it as Airbnb for EV production, but I don't like it that way, that definition, even though it's methodologically correct. What we do at the core is we have a one skateboard platform, and that skateboard platform can power any other different vehicle that you have. Maybe Devin has a brilliant Burning Man car idea, right? Why not? So that should be the idea that what should be going towards. And I have a background in semiconductors and smartphone, and I see this moment very similar to 2006, 2007 Android. When Android first came to smartphones, and now you see there are suddenly 60, 80 different smartphone makers, outside of the Apple ecosystem is dominating the industry. So what we would like to do the same. Outside of Tesla ecosystem, we want to decentralize both the technology and production side, and as well as the manufacturing side. Of course, it's not just like done by strategical level, right? So at the product level, as I told in the beginning, we simplify the vehicle. Rain sensors, we don't have rain sensors in the car, sorry. Fancy proximity sensors in the mirror, we don't have that. Bluetooth, disabled. Wi-Fi, disabled, right? 12 voltage architecture, fully digitized. Again, our suspension is not the best of the world, but it works, and it works very well and easy to assemble. So that's the direction we are going with Olympian.
That's very exciting. Very exciting, Eren. I want to thank you for the great presentation. Beautiful cars. I mean, it's so exciting. Brian, what do you want to ask Eren?
Yeah, this is fascinating. I love kind of the reusability aspect of, the skateboard platform, I think, as you refer to it. I almost imagine you could iterate and eventually have like customizations on top of that, right? Like all the different models you showed were pretty distinct. I'm curious, congratulations on the number of pre-orders you've gotten. Could you give us a little more insights in terms of who is your ideal customer? Who is the person that's being attracted to this? And what does that kind of market, ultimately look like in your perspective?
Of course. We have a similar playbook as Rivian. Rivian also has cargo vans. Remember, they sell to Amazon, Walmart. They also have passenger vehicles. We have the similar playbook. But we also want to do a little bit more than Rivian. Rivian, okay, have good cars, similar to our like the Model 84, but our Model 01 is telling a completely different story. But playbook-wise, it's similar. And who are these customers? Let me tell you right away. Model 01 is men in midlife crisis, right? People looking for a trophy. Right now, they are buying Porsche. But Porsche is Porsche for past 50 years. I like it too. But what else, right? So Model 01 is that answer. What else? What else we are able to create as of 2025 outside of SUV? A beautiful car. And then we got lucky. Of course, hardworking comes opportunities, but I will still want to count ourselves lucky that we were able to partner with CATL to bring Model 01 to the market, and that's 2026 timeframe. Model 42 And skateboard currently available for sale. We delivered a fifth batch we are still doing it this week. We have a delivery again, but these are low volume, and we would like to scale up. Yeah.
Thank you. I know we're short in time, Devin. I'll hand it over to you.
So give us a sense of how many units you've actually delivered, because that's, there are a lot of car companies that never delivered a truck, right? Never delivered a vehicle. It was just an idea. How many of you sold?
Exactly, Devin. Let me tell you, Arrival raised 1 billion. They didn't deliver any car. 1 billion they raised. They delivered 0 cars. A Canoe raised again 500, but they at least delivered 20 vehicles. NASA, US Army, 20 vehicles, not bad. So far, we delivered, as a startup, we have delivered 12. This week, we are going to deliver 2. It's going to be 14.
That's great.
It's a bit lower than our projections, but we are getting there. We are expanding our now facility in Los Angeles. We would like to scale, step by step, directly tied to our fundraising too.
Yeah, well, I know I want to have one of each, so I'll follow up with you. But these are beautiful, beautiful cars. I'm a little past my midlife crisis, but I still want one. Eren, thank you very much for being here. I want to encourage all of you now who are watching today, participating in the webinar today, to check out all these companies that have pitched today. Infinity Fuel Cell and Hydrogen, amazing technology. Scirocco Energy, really a competitive, high-tech solution that I think really has a niche opportunity in the wind energy. EarthGrid, oh my gosh, the numbers are baffling there. Plus the tech is so cool, straight out of Star Wars. Windlift, doing the impossible. I don't know how you fly a plane that still generates power. It seems almost impossible. Very exciting. And then Olympian Motors, beautiful EVs, really exciting to see a company that's actually delivering vehicles. This is exciting stuff. Brian, you're a genius. Thank you very much for the invitation to be here with you. Genius questions. I'm thrilled to have had an opportunity to be here. I want to thank all of you for coming, and I want to thank everybody who participated. And we'll look forward to, and we want to encourage you to check out Go Fund Yourself. Watch the show. So thanks, everybody. Appreciate you being here with us. And Brian, thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, thank you. And we have another session starting right now. So if you want to learn about the power of live investment and entertainment-driven marketing, head over and join us over there. So thanks, everyone.